this is like a cool little hell world.
Yeah, this place looks so fucking cool. I think you might actually like this one because it's a very different kind of take on the spooky level in a 3D platformer, basically.
And so far, it's like okay, I guess.
Oh yeah, but this is just the opening. Like we're gonna go into Hell's Mouth.
I was talking about being Paprika Cat with its outlines and like how red is not great to distinguish like colors, and also like Has Been Hotel was pretty well known for this, and like admittedly it was way worse in the pilot. Oh, the green is cool.
Yeah.
It was way worse in the pilot because it's so muddy and like all the colors kind of blend in with each other. And, like the red outlines and also the red backgrounds and the red color designs, just like it's all a little much. Oh, you were timing these perfectly, by the way.
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
Oh, I thought that water was gonna like electrocute you, but I guess not.
I have played this bit so many times, I know exactly the flipping collision masks. Or I'm just kind of winging it, you know, either one.
Whatever you say, dear.
I just got a fun idea. Like these outfits are so fun for Rayman, like for the power-ups. I kind of want to draw like different power-ups for my Sona. I feel like that could be fun.
That would be fun.
But I get what you mean about, like, especially Has Been Hotel, like the, it's not just the outlines and stuff, it's also just the characters just having so many, like, different shades of red and stuff, and it's difficult to tell apart, not just, well, the different characters have distinct silhouettes, but, like, for example, the arms on certain characters will not stand out enough, so I can't quite read a silhouette. Like, that'll happen every now and then.
Yeah, I think a character that's really bad with like the colors is Husk, because it's just with the wings and the dark and the black fur and like just there's just too much stuff going on.
Exactly, and like the patterns and things of like, oh dude, it's a little much. Like these designs are really cool, and I totally get what they're going for, but at the same time it's both a blessing and a curse. This kind of style that they're going for. It stands out, it's unique, and I like that, but at the same time it's hard to read sometimes.
Yeah, I think it's very clear that Madrano is like queen of like over design. And you know, on some level, I do. Like, this is gonna sound like a backhanded compliment, but I don't mean it like this. I do appreciate like the fact that she is so openly cringe and like does not care at all. And like they're like, yeah, I'm gonna draw 1,000 like identical looking sparkle dogs until they're sexy men. They're all gonna have like red and black color scheme, and it's gonna be edgy. And we're gonna like try to say like, actually, hell is full of the good guys, and like heaven's full of the bad guys, and God's actually bad. And like the email 12-year-old first going to Hot Topic, and like you know what? Honestly, I appreciate the fuck out of all that.
Absolutely, no, that's what I mean. Like I really appreciate her just sticking to her guns and making it like how she wants to make it. I feel like that's awesome. Yeah. But it has mixed results, unfortunately, in the grand scheme of things. But it's, you know, it's a trade-off. It's not all bad. It's not all good. It can just be a mix of things. It can just be something that is flawed, but still so unique that it sticks with you. Like that's fine. I feel like that is allowed to exist.
Yeah. Yeah. With my own stuff, like I typically have a very much a less is more mentality. Like I try to like keep as minimalist as possible. Recently, I've been kind of veering a bit more into like more complicated designs because I feel like I've been getting a bit stagnant with like that too simplistic looks. Yeah. Are we missing important lore?
No, they're basically talking about how you're about to die and this place is horrible and you should leave right the fuck now.
Dope.
So things are gonna be fine. I think we'll be good. Definitely not something extremely traumatizing coming up for pretty much every kid who played this game.
Hell yeah. Is it on the same level as like the evil piano from Mario 64?
This is worse.
Okay, cool.
It is, well, we can't hear the music right now because, you know, the recording's set up, but imagine there's like very loud, like piano, like dun 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 dun. Meanwhile, Globox is getting kidnapped, and now we are in this horrible, horrible cave with these invincible, like, creatures that are hunting our every move.
Oh, it's kind of like the Redeads from like Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, these guys are fucking creepy. They have like these huge mouths that open every now and then, and they scream constantly, and you can hear them talking about how they want to stuff bamboo under Rayman's nails and want to break all his bones. It's pretty hardcore.
It's definitely bamboo under someone's nails, like a thing that happens.
I don't know, but they joke about this constantly.
I'll admit it's kind of hard to take this seriously because it just looks so goofy.
It is a little goofy, but when you're playing this on like a dark CRT monitor as a kid, and it's like these sounds are coming out of the thing, and you see these big monsters running around, and you're like completely powerless against them. Like this is the first time you can only run from your enemies. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like how That's something that happened a lot more in like an older cartoons, I guess. But like a lot of older cartoons just like had one random episode that was like completely fucked up and like scary and just like freaked everyone out.
Oh,
And just like
yes.
act like nothing happened the next time.
Yeah. Or if you're Invader Zim, that's every episode.
Yeah, Invader Zim's the outlier, should not be accounted for.
True.
Anyway, back on monochromatic color schemes, like I wanted to also bring up like art styles that like inspire me, and I really like Hollow Knight and what they do with the color schemes and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Because the entire environments, they all have entire environments like kind of just dedicated to one color, and like variants on that color. So like there's a bee kingdom that's mostly just yellow and browns and stuff like that, just all variants on that, and looks really cool. It's really distinct. There's the White Palace, which is, you know, mostly white and gray and some black. Like I and like all that stuff, and like there's areas which is blue on variants. Hello, Teensy.
He just, if you get hit a bunch of time, he just shows up and is like, hey, stop getting hit.
God, get good.
The skill issue, Teensy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Wow,
I get what you mean with the whole, like, monochromatic things are really fun. They remind me of, like, Game Boy Color games, how they would have to use very limited color palettes to convey, like, a certain mood or an environment and characters. It was really impressive.
Yeah. Put up, like, the picture we did of, like, the NES U and stuff. Like, and everyone's, like, putting their own, like, little characters.
Huh?
The NES, like, the NES Mario drawing where, like, it's you on, like, a platform. And, like, everyone
hell yeah! Sure, I'm gonna put that up. If my friends are cool with that, then I can upload the version where everybody added their own characters. Yeah. I tried to draw my own little character persona, just me, I guess. In the Mario 1 style, so I had to stick with like certain limitations. I think I broke like the color rule because Mario sprites can only have like 3 colors, and I used I think 4 or 5, but I still tried to work it like within the limitations of the size and all that. It's really fun. I can highly recommend giving that a try.
Yeah, I didn't really use the Mario NES color palette, more just the NES color palette in general. So like I used that and like for my little guy. If the rest of the rest of the friends don't agree to it, you could just put up like you and me up.
Yeah.
Get it.
Can do. So this part's pretty fun. Like you gotta distract the enemies with the big gong. And also there's zombie chickens now. Like those are enemies that you might remember from Rayman 2. They're just floating around every now and then, make horrible music noises.
Wow, what a scare reference to Rayman 2. And I'm saying I'm scared because I don't remember that at all.
Heck you. It was cool. The zombie chickens are iconic.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. Like I'm not owned. I'm not owned. I say as I slowly shrink into a corn cob.
Man, I could go for a corn cob.
Corn cobs are good. You know, I bought like a bundle of like fresh like corn, like from the side of the road. Because I just what you can do in Iowa. And like I thought like it could last like a week in the fridge. No, it lasts like 2 days. Sucks. And I have a bunch of corn in my fridge. And I can't eat any of it.
Why does all the good food expire so quickly? It's not fair.
How did people eat food before refrigerators?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. You know, what they would used to do, actually, I know a few things about this. Sometimes they would add like a shit ton of salt to it. That would also stop bacteria from eating it, basically. Or they would, yeah, just like...
I mean, that still kind of happens today. That's the reason why processed food is it's considered like so high in sodium.
Yeah, that's it. It's a conversation thing. Conservation? Conversation? What's...
It's conservation. Conversation is what we're saying right now, dear.
Right. The talky thing. I know that one. Also, here's a cool part. There's a lot of lore regarding these like underground dwellers, like the Knarren is what they're called. They have like this, hey, little froggy. They don't just have a little froggy. It gets deeper than that, believe me or not. They have like this giant bird god thing. What?
It really is just like Sonic Adventure 1. There's a froggy.
Froggy. Yeah.
Alright, go on.
They have this giant bird statue thing because that's their god. And it's interesting because in Rayman 2 we actually learn that there's like a major god in Rayman's universe that you talk to every now and then, who helps you beat the final boss. But there's more gods, apparently. And it's sort of alluded to in some lore bits from Rayman 2 that you can unlock, like a text bits. And yeah, this is one of the other gods. It's called Leptis, and it's just a giant bird thing. And we don't know much about it, except that the Canarron worship it.
Yeah. That's cool. I guess you can also read like the murals on the wall, and I think give you a bit more lore dump.
Yeah, there's some murals and stuff of the Canarron hunting teensies. I always wondered what that was about.
The Karens hunting teensies? Because I saw one of them that looked like the teensies were hunting the Karen, or maybe it was like both. Like it starts off the Karen like hunting the teensies, and then like switches like near the end.
Yeah, I think it's mostly the Canarron hunting the teensies. Also, did you call them Karens?
I'm sorry, what did I? Well, what's the name again?
Canarron, with like an N in the middle.
Karen. Yeah, I guess I get called them Karen.
That's very funny. I like that.
Okay, actually, put this the Karens like hunting the teensies. So excited of them. So typical.
So typical. These dang Karens. Always wanting to see their manager. Always wanting to capture teensies. That's the two defining traits of Karens.
Okay, so recently I got like the Steam Universe art book, and I've just been reading through that. It's really cool just seeing the process, of course. But there's one part that I want you to bring up, that put on screen, and I'll send it to you later. That like early design for Garnet was originally going to give her a Karen haircut, and like. Yeah, it didn't go past the sketch phase, but oh my god.
That would have been very funny. I like her, like, the character designs in Steven Universe are so fun. I really love the designs that they ended up with. So geometric, so distinct, like the silhouettes and stuff. I like them a lot.
Yeah, I sent it to you if you want to, like, look.
Thank you. I'll save that for the editing.
Yeah, it says, like, bangs, short in the back? Maybe not.
Alright, let me have a quick peek. Oh yeah, I see. Yeah, that's definitely a Karen haircut. That's very fun.
Yeah.
Nice. Frog.
Yeah, it's just interesting. Like I was reading the book and they said like, and Sugar was like saying like, oh yeah, I knew that I wanted to like change like the art style for like the show proper. And I'm just like, I wonder why. Maybe I don't think they ever get into it, but I guess maybe they just didn't vibe with like the original pilot art style.
Yeah. Also, it's probably easier to animate.
Oh right. That's what they said. Yeah, but she said at one point that I want to make things like easily recognizable and make it easy for the artist to draw them and like every frame.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, okay.
That makes sense. That's completely valid. You gotta make some, compromises when you're working on a big studio thing.
Yeah. I do. There is like a certain charm to the original designs. I kind of like. I don't know. I feel like maybe the drama would have worked better if it was on that kind of like more realistic style, but
yeah, maybe. Man, I just love the flipping hook power up in this game. Is so fun, man. Like, I know Head in Time has a similar kind of thing, but it's just it doesn't top this for me. Like, it feels so fluid and fun.
I should replay Head in Time again, for like the billionth time.
Hell yeah, good game. Also, this statue, like, there was some leftover data in the game that suggested that it was going to like fire lightning at you from its eyes, but they ended up not using that.
Yeah, that's another thing I've learned about like creative stuff, and like just learn how so much stuff like gets to like the final stages or like the editing process, and then just gets cut like last minute.
Oh yes, constantly.
Yeah, and so like I don't know, it's been kind of nice because I kind of get in this head. I get in my head about like writing scripts, so it's like, oh god, if I change so much stuff like at the final thing, like what's even the point of writing the script? And like, but I need to also like, there's a lot of stuff I'm gonna lose, and it's just like, it's a little bit freeing to know that like just a lot of stuff is gonna be lost anyway.
Yes, no, that is very important. You gotta like the concept of killing your darlings, like just getting rid of the things that you really adore but don't actually work that well. Hello, guys. Yeah. Whoop.
I think it's also something you said about like how a lot of times creative works in general have like there's like this what's the word advice you might hear sometimes about writing, saying like if it doesn't move the plot along, then they get rid of it, and like and that's true in a lot of cases, but sometimes like it's not, because like a lot of times there's like fun stuff and works that technically don't really move the plot along or like even bring the plot to a halt, like musical numbers or like fight scenes or sex scenes and stuff like that. And a lot of times they don't really add, and sometimes they add stuff. Well, there's also a lot of times when they don't. Musical numbers especially need to add stuff, but you know what I mean. And like people get pissy when you point that out, but like it's not a bad thing that they don't add anything. Like superhero movies, technically speaking, probably don't need a lot of the fight scenes. But also, why would you want to watch Deadpool versus Wolverine without the fight scenes? Because those fuck hard.
Yeah, exactly. Like sometimes it just adds texture, sometimes it adds fun, sometimes you can just add stuff that doesn't necessarily move the plot along, but is incredibly entertaining regardless. And I feel like that has a place. It's a difficult balance to walk, but definitely for sure.
Yeah, I think Ghibli, however it's pronounced, Ghibli. I think it's
Ghibli.
Ghibli is really good at this because they have a lot of scenes or moments, and like they'll go on for like a few minutes. And it's just like characters just contemplating or just being very quiet and just like enjoying the scenery. And like you can technically cut those scenes out and you would lose nothing. But like, why would you ever want to cut that out? Because that's one of the best parts. Like,
Yeah.
you want to watch Spirited Away without that train scene? Like, no, you don't.
You're still missing something, and that something is hard to define sometimes, but it is something, and it's there, and it's important.
Yeah. I guess with Ghibli, I don't know. I think it's Ghibli. With Ghibli in particular, it's very, I don't know, it's just kind of like a very human, quiet moment where it's just, they're very contemplative. It just, it reminds me of like the Brave Little Toaster, where there's just a bunch of like little scenes in it. Or like Mulan, where there's just like a few very quiet scenes. And I don't know, I just really like whenever shows and movies do that.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get in this trap of like things going go 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 go, and like when it doesn't do that and just like lets things sit for a bit and just let characters just like think for like a second, it's just nice. I don't know how to explain it. It's just nice.
Yeah, it needs some breathing room. It needs some human stuff. It needs something. So it's like the viewer needs to have a little break sometimes. It's important.
Yeah.
Also, I'm gonna look at the statue's underwear for a second, because if I recall correctly, yes, there's actually like a heart pattern on there. It's very hard to spot. Most people don't know about this, but I found it once and I was like, yeah, I found a little Easter egg that I hadn't seen before, because this game is full of them.
Yeah. So like, this is an example of things that can probably be cut, but like you don't, Mark is definitely not gonna do that.
Exactly. Also, all this stuff reminds me of something from very recently, like 2 days ago. I am not confirming that it's gonna happen, but I have been writing a little script for another Sam Hex video, and I asked some of my friends to read it, and I got some feedback on it saying that like it's maybe a little too streamlined. Like I tried to cut out as much as possible to just have as little in there, also just to keep it short and manageable, but I really tried to boil it down to its bare bones, like its essence, and actually got, you know, the feedback to you know, maybe add some more to it, like maybe add some like breathing room or just some funny bits or any of that stuff. And I'm gonna do that now, but I think you need like a good skeleton, like a good structure before you start considering that, because then you can just like go nuts with funny bits until, you know, you hit the runtime that you want to go for. So
yeah, for me, I have like a big problem with like, it's just a lot of my stuff is very bare bones and to get from point A to point B, so I just like have to figure out like, okay, I need to actually put some meat on this thing. I don't really know what to do with that. Nothing, but like I haven't read it yet. I'll read it soonish. I'm sorry, I've been dealing with like a bunch of
that's
stuff.
okay. Hey, don't worry, man. I don't blame you at all. Completely fine.
Oh, you're very sweet. So like what was I gonna say? What were we talking about? Oh yeah, no, I remember. The other thing with the Steven Universe book, it said like so when Sugar worked on Adventure Time, like the creator of that show, Pendleton Ward, or like a showrunner for that show, I like to avoid words like creator and like projects like this, because so much of the stuff like is just a collaborative effort. It's not right to just say one person made all this or whatever, you know?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
But yeah, so the director of showrunner, whatever you would call him, Adventure Time, Pendleton Ward, like gave advice to Sugar saying like sometimes like jokes are not just like set up and punchlines. Sometimes it's just like a funny face, or like a weird way that someone said a thing, or just like an awkward way of sitting in a thing. And like I think there's something and that really helped me, because I worried too much about like making jokes in my scripts and stuff. And like sometimes it's just that, like it can just be so simple, like it's just a silly way of saying something.
Yeah, exactly. That's the fun like collaborative process of it too. Like when I was working on Sam Hex, like like I put jokes in the script and stuff, but also just during the storyboarding, like I found funny ways to pose the characters, and while we were doing the recording the voices, like the voice actors or I would come up with an idea to deliver a line in a funny way, or give it like a little bit of texture to just make it slightly distinct, slightly different from just to make you think about it more. Just so many little things you can do to make it more interesting or funny or just do anything really.
there's nothing more frustrating than when like, okay, I've worked on like storyboard stuff before and everything, and there's nothing more frustrating when you like add like little jokes that like you're just trying to entertain yourself while you're doing this kind of tedious task, and then like you bring it to your director and they say like, oh yeah, cut that because it wasn't in the script. And just like, but it's
Yeah,
fun.
man, it's fun though. Yeah, exactly. I get that. That's fun. So that's more fun when you're making your own thing. You can just do whatever you want.
Yeah. I have like a few ideas of like when I make, if I make a cartoon or a pilot or whatever, I plan on like having some hard rules for myself. Like make things simple for like animators and artists to do. So like if it's choppier, if choppier is simpler, do it that way. Like we're not, don't worry about like it looking perfect or whatever. Let it go off model. Let it like mess up or I don't know, or like have some issues with it. It's fine. Like, cause I don't. I've dealt with the quite a few times with crunch time, and I don't want that to happen here again.
Yeah. That reminds me of I think the show was OKKO, where they very often just it was very storyboard driven, where the storyboarders were just given a lot of freedom to like add expressions or go off model. So the show has this very distinct look where characters are very flexible, I suppose. Oh, whoops, that's the end of the episode already. But it's also pretty much what I wanted to say. That's all.
Yeah, I will say there is an issue about that because that storyboard artists are also expected to like kind of be the writers of the shows too, and like that they're probably not getting paid. It gets into the issue of job creeps and like and stuff. But that's an industry wide problem, not just like specifically OKKO or Steven Universe or whatever. Or any
Yeah.
So.
True. Well, join us next time when we stealthily climb up this blippin' Karen Tower.
Yeah, let's climb up the Karen Tower to go see the manager.
The Karen Tower to see the manager. Nice. See you next time. Bye bye.